Hey everyone, welcome. If you're watching this part, you're probably watching the replay. So hey, and welcome to the replay of this live that I did today, May 27th, all about being too sensitive according to the narcissist. So while we wait for people to join, I'll briefly introduce myself. Hello everyone, welcome. I see people are joining now. How exciting. Thank you for being here. Feel free to drop in the chat where you're from. If you've got any questions, I will do my best to answer them all, depending we usually don't have that many, so I'm sure I'll answer them. So welcome everyone. I just wanted to hop on today and go live and talk about being too sensitive according to the narcissist. Hello, Senia, welcome. Hey, Carbella Via, thanks for doing this. You're very welcome. Sonia, my life, LMAO. So sorry to hear. And here's let's get right into it. So you've probably been called too sensitive, right? And this probably happens when you're upset about something the narcissist did, which would be something that would make anybody upset, because narcissists just do things to piss people off on purpose. And then they tell you that you're being too sensitive, right? So you react, you are upset about it. You tell them like, why would you say that? How dare you, etc. And they'll say you're too sensitive. So that's actually gaslighting. And what gaslighting is when a narcissist or a manipulator tries to make you question your reality. Sorry, I just saw a few things pop into the chat. Dickinson, you're very welcome. HD Stearns, should I defend myself to my kids when their narc mom lies to them about me? I mean, it depends on like how old your kids are, what the whole situation is. I can't give you very personalized coaching advice here because there's no confidentiality kind of thing. But, leading by example would kind of be your best bet, right? Like, don't get too deep into it and just say, that's not true. Anyways, whatever other kid related thing you can talk about with them. So I hope that makes sense. Sonia, you're very welcome. Pandora's Box, too sensitive is my second name. Oh, same. I mean, my former second name. Robert, hi again. Life gets in the way. Writing myself a reminder to get with you through the link in your bio. Thanks for the responses the other way. You're very welcome and no worries. Feel free to book whenever you are ready. Capsy, hi, welcome. So here's the reality on why you're not actually too sensitive. The reality is that you're a normal human with emotions, and you're going to have a normal emotional reaction to whatever is happening around you. So if the narcissist insults you or, tells you off or, exploits one of your vulnerabilities, all the things that narcissists do, and you give them a reaction, they're going to tell you that you're too sensitive, and they're going to say it in a way where it implies that there's something wrong with you. And the truth is, there is nothing wrong with you, because it's normal to have an emotional reaction to the bullshit that this person is doing and saying, except they're going to tell you that you're too sensitive so they can point the finger back to you and make it seem like there's something wrong with you. It's a distraction tactic. It's to distract you from the actual issue, which is their abuse, and make you think that something's wrong with you for being too sensitive, being way too emotional, blah, blah, blah. And they purposely trigger you to get an emotional reaction out of you in order to say that you're too sensitive. And that way you react more. And so let's do a little quiz for anyone who is paying attention as they're watching this live. What is a narcissist's goal? Let me know in the chat what a narcissist's goal is. And then we'll kind of get into it, and I'll see what the questions that came through are. Capsy, do they really know what they're doing with us, or are they not aware of their behavior? They're totally aware of their behavior. It depends who their audience is, right? Like, they're completely different out in public versus behind closed doors. That takes awareness. They know how to treat other people with respect, but not you, because you're their main target. That takes awareness. They know you're their target. They know they're targeting you. So they're 100% aware of their behavior. They're not in this like blacked out trance state when they're abusing you. Like they know exactly what they're doing, but they're going to play dumb, right? They're really good at like hiding who they are and, you know, their, oh my God, their motivations and all that. So you have to keep that in mind, because like it would defeat the whole purpose of being manipulative if they told you like a play-by-play of their tactics and what they're trying to do, right? So they know. Sarah, have been told I am too sensitive my whole life, now being told my daughter is too sensitive. Yeah, absolutely, right? So if they can't manipulate you, they're going to try to manipulate your daughter, because, and this is going to sound really fucked up, but like, stick with me. To narcissists, children are low-hanging fruit because they're very easy to manipulate. So, you know, I'm assuming this is like your narcissistic parent calling your daughter too sensitive. They're going to try to control her too. So, yeah. All right. So we got a few responses on what the narcissist's goal is. One person got it right. So that's Christine. So yes, to get supply. Lynn said manipulation, which is also correct, but they manipulate you to get supply. And Lou Boo said to break you, and yes, breaking you is supply. So you're kind of right too. So everyone's right either way. And so let's talk about what supply is. Capsy, you're welcome. Arlie, why can't narcissists normal talking to you are negative when you tell them positive? I'm a little confused about how you worded that. Yeah, like, so if you tell them like something positive, they make it negative, is I'm assuming what you're asking. And like, why can't they just be normal? Because they're not normal, right? They're narcissists, and anything you tell them, they're going to use against you. So if you're happy about something, if you're excited about something, they're going to turn it negative so that you can feel discouraged and feel like shit about whatever you're looking forward to. And again, the goal of that is to get supply. And then Danielle in the chat, to gain supply, your emotional reaction is their goal. It's really difficult understanding the motivation behind this and the evil narc dad. I'm an adult. Exactly, right? You're correct. Their goal is to get supply. And you took the words out of my mouth, so thank you. If there was a point system here, you'd get 10 points. And yeah, that's the thing. It's really hard to wrap your head around the motivations of a narcissist, because it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, when you're a normal person, when you're a too sensitive person, you could never imagine going out of your way to ruin somebody else's life, right? Because like, you've got other shit to do with your time, you know? Like there's other wonderful things in life to focus on than screwing other people over, getting supply from them so that you can feel a sense of power and control over them. That's really what it's all about at the end of the day. LJDC, why do men always act mentally handicapped? So, I mean, narcissistic men would behave that way, and narcissistic women do too. It's just, you know, to make you do the things. Sonia, this is so true. Awesome. JD Ski, can you explain further about getting supply? What kind of supply? Yeah, totally, 100%. So that's totally what I'm going to go into. I'm just, you know, getting distracted by the comments. Sonia, this is exactly what I went through. Yep, totally. And like, this is the thing too with narcissists. It's like all of our stories are the same. Like some details might be different, but end of the day, like they follow the same patterns. And again, the goal is to gain supply. MJ fan, what to do when they continuously smear campaign, act like they're the authority. I made a post sometime last week about smear campaigns, so check that one out. And you gotta just ignore the smear campaign. I know obviously easier said than done, but this is where doing the inner work really helps. LJ, should I smack the shit out of a man if he plays with me? I mean, that's probably not legal in a lot of places, so probably not. Sonia, whenever I had a big important shows, he would deliberately make me late and undermine me. 100%, right? Like that, and that's the thing. You can't give them any information because they're going to go out of their way to screw it up for you. Capsy, my girl says she won't leave me at any cost. Every day she takes me to emotional roller coaster. I'm stuck and I don't know what to do. She's playing and taking advantage of being emotional. So that sounds like manipulative. And, you know, at the end of the day, each adult is responsible for their own emotions. NS Stoner Mrs. Do you think being adopted ups the emotional disconnect for the narcissistic mother? I mean, honestly, maybe. I'm not adopted, but, you know, my mother was completely emotionally disconnected. So I think it's like, you know, no narcissistic mother truly cares about their children. Like they see their children as a source of supply. And I'm sure that, you know, adoption just makes it so much harder for the adopted child. Sonia, and get inside my head, making me out to be the issue because I was successful at what I did. It's like he couldn't handle it. Exactly, right? Like he needed to have all the attention on himself and he couldn't stand to see you thriving and getting attention and all that kind of stuff. And it's just, you know, they need to be the center of attention. Aw, thank you, Sonia. You're too kind. So let's talk about what supply is. So supply is the narcissist's ultimate goal. Supply is your emotional reaction, your time, your energy, your engagement in these pointless conversations with them that last until like 3 a.m. and lead to no resolution, and you're like more confused than before the conversation started. Basically, any attention and energy that you exert onto this person is supply, and that is what they thrive off of. So when they're telling you that you're too sensitive, they're trying to get more supply from you because now you've given them supply by, you know, giving them the emotional reaction, which it's not something that you're like knowingly doing, right? Like, I'm not trying to say this in a way where it's like, you know, you're, I don't know, let's use like a thief as an example. And it's like, oh, here, like steal the contents of my purse from me. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what you're doing, because you're obviously being manipulated, right? Like a thief would wait for like a perfect opportunity to get what they want from you. And like a narcissist kind of does the same thing. Like they're not going to tell you. I hope that made sense. I feel like I rambled in like a few weird directions there, but if this isn't making sense, feel free to let me know in the chat. And so basically this ties into why the emotional work is so important, because when you get in touch with your emotions, you realize that like, no, I'm not too sensitive. I'm a normal person with empathy. And there's no problem with empathy, okay? Like the world needs more people with empathy. But hey, we live in a very fucked up planet. Let's just put it that way. And when you're being narcissistically abused by someone who's like emotionally manipulating you, they use your emotions against you and they make your emotions the problem. And so when they make your emotions the problem, what you end up doing unconsciously, because this is a survival instinct, you start repressing those emotions. You push them down. You start believing that you're too sensitive and, you know, you're just too emotional of a person. So you do everything you can to push all of that down. And especially if you're raised by a narcissistic parent, you learn to repress those emotions at a very young age. And so here's another question for you to answer in the chat. Does anybody here have chronic pain? I know that sounds like a little weird, maybe unrelated, but do you have chronic pain or mystery symptoms where, you know, you've been to the doctor, they've done the tests, you're not dying, there's nothing nefarious going on, you've just got these weird symptoms that you have to sort of keep under control? It can be like IBS, skin issues, things like that, and especially chronic pain. Let me know in the chat because we're gonna go full circle. Let me just catch up on what people are saying in the chat. Capsy, by now I know she's a narcissist, but I miss her when she gives me the silent treatment. I don't know what to do. So you're still trauma bonded to her. If you don't share children with this person, like cut and run and then focus on your inner work, right? If you do share children or have like legal obligations, obviously get a decent lawyer, figure that out with the court system and do your inner work at the same time. Because that's going to be really helpful. And, you know, it's really, and this ties into what I'm talking about like being too sensitive, because once you start making friends with your emotions and processing them and letting yourself feel them, including letting yourself miss the narcissist, then you give yourself the opportunity to release the emotion. So you're not going to miss her anymore, right? But you have to, the only way out is through. So you actually have to, like, you know, be uncomfortable feeling those emotions. And I'll get into this a lot more. But let me just go through the next comments and questions. Lullaby Island, the hardest part is trying to explain narcissistic mothers to others who then guilt me for saying that. So here's the thing, it's not your job to explain this to everybody, right? Not everybody's receptive to this, and not everybody's going to understand having a narcissistic mother. And there are a lot of people who are narcissists themselves who, when you tell them about a narcissist, they're going to, you know, discredit you or guilt you and say that, like, you can't say that kind of thing. So just something to really keep in mind. Like, it is so taboo to talk about narcissistic mothers because, and I don't mean this in any offensive way, like, shout out to all the great mothers out there who actually care for their children and are not abusing them. Way to go for you guys. But mothers are on a pedestal in our society, and, you know, having the audacity to say that a mother could be, like, harmful to their children, you're now painted in a negative light, right? But, like, again, we have to be in touch with reality, right? And not everybody is, and that's their journey. Lullaby, I spent 20 years trying to make it work with my mother. It has nearly destroyed my life. Exactly. It is, and it's going to continue destroying your life. The more energy you put into trying to make things work with your mother when she is literally committed to destroying you, the more time you waste, the more, you know, you don't get to live life on your own terms. And so you have to really understand your mother has been the adult, like, the entire time that you've existed, right? If she hasn't been able to figure her shit out by now, it is not your job to teach her how to do that. She has to figure that out for herself, and she won't, because, you know, she's got enablers. Our society very much, you know, is kind of narcissistic. So it's, you know, you have to, oh my gosh, how do I put this? You have to shift your focus onto your healing journey instead of making things work with your mother. Because if things were going to work, they would have worked by now. And, like, it's not supposed, like, relationships are not supposed to be this hard when you're dealing with two healthy people, and narcissists are not healthy people. Lullaby, can narcissists ever heal or realize what they do, or they're just delusional? So they know what they're doing. They absolutely know what they're doing. They don't believe that there's anything wrong with them. So for someone to go on a healing journey, they have to reach a point in their life where they're like, this is not working out for me anymore. I need to figure my shit out and, you know, get myself help. Narcissists believe everybody else is the issue. So yeah, to answer your question, yeah, they're delusional, but they're never going to admit that. They're never, you know, their narrative is their narrative, is their narrative, is their narrative. And they're going to die on that hill. And I'll share my story if you're new or you haven't heard this story. I had a narcissistic mother. She died 4 years ago. She never changed. She never, you know, on her deathbed, like, she was giving me the death glare in the hospice. So, I mean, you know, if you wanted to crush any hope that your narcissistic mother is going to change, I hope that helped. Because at the end of the day, like, the more that you hope for a grown adult to change, the more you hope for a grown adult to change, right? Change comes from the person who chooses to change. And a narcissist is not going to choose to change. They might pretend to change just to manipulate you because they know that that's what you want, but that change is going to be short-lived, and you're going to see that cycle repeating itself over and over and over again. So, hope that made sense. Lullaby, it makes sense and is appreciated. Awesome. Sonia, it makes sense. Fantastic. Sonia, thank you for your insight. You're making so many people feel seen. We are not crazy. Oh, I'm so glad to hear. That is why I am here. That is why I do what I do. I have literally been in your shoes, and, you know, I basically, you know, my page, my coaching programs, all that kind of stuff is like what I wish existed when I was going through it. So I've now created it, and I'm just so glad to hear that this helps. So I think I'm at the point where I asked people if they have chronic pain. So Lou Boo says yes. Sonia, I have chronic pain and fibromyalgia. NS Stoner misses, I was told children should be seen and not heard a lot as a child. Yep, absolutely, right? And that causes emotional repression, which is going to tie into being sensitive and the question I asked about chronic pain. We're going to come full circle in some way, shape, or form. Let's see. Sarah, migraines, jaw, toothaches from clenching. Lubu, Crohn's disease. Pandora's box and autoimmune disease and chronic gut problems. Lubu, I have never been so unwell. My energy levels are so low. I have PTSD. Yep. Yeah, totally. So I know I'm probably super behind in the comments, but let's get to the point about chronic pain now. So the reason I asked you guys if you had any chronic pain or mystery symptoms or mystery illnesses and things like that, and we got a lot of people in the chat saying yes, is because that is actually a manifestation of the repressed emotions from the trauma of narcissistic abuse. And especially if you were raised in a narcissistic household with narcissistic parents. I'll share a bit of my story, and this can also tie into why I do what I do, because I was just talking about that too. I had severe chronic pain. I had TMJ dysfunction. I had migraines. I had carpal tunnel syndrome. I had surgery on one hand. You can see my little scar still. Did that in 2017. And I got shingles in my mouth in 2018 at the ripe old age of 30. And if you don't know what shingles is, it's the chickenpox virus, which comes back when you're an adult, and usually only senior citizens have to worry about it. But you know, got it at 30. You can't even get vaccinated for it till you're like 50 or 55. So like, you know, no shot in hell for me. And I actually got shingles when I was 23 also, but like in my mouth, it was just like next level fucking hell, misery, pain, horrendousness. And what else? Just lost my train of thought, as I do. Bear with me. Chronic pain, yes. So I had chronic pain, and the shingles in my mouth led to something called trigeminal neuralgia. So it's the trigeminal nerve that branches off into 3 parts of your face, which is responsible for the feeling on half of your face. And when you get trigeminal neuralgia, it is nicknamed the suicide disease because that's how painful it is. And I was 30 at the time, and I was like, don't fucking know, like, if it's this painful now, like, I'm terrified of aging because it's only downhill from here, right? And then I learned about something called the mind-body connection, which is the theory of the work of the late Dr. John Sarno, that if you have physical chronic pain, it's actually not about the original injury. So I did have an original injury. When I got my wisdom teeth removed, that's when all the head pain kind of started happening. So like the TMJ, the migraines, the neck pain. I even have an x-ray of my neck that like it's crooked, and I have kyphosis and disc degeneration and like all this stuff that like I was like in my 20s at that time. So it was just, you know, oh my God, like it's really like, what does the future have in store for me? And so when I learned about this whole thing about like the mind-body connection, I was so offended because I was like, I'm not emotional because I did such a good job at repressing my emotions. And now they were coming out physically because it became a pressure cooker in my body. So if you have chronic pain and you have been through narcissistic abuse, understand that it is connected, right? This is not medical advice. So listen to your doctor about whatever your health conditions are, but understand that processing your emotions will not hurt, right? It's only going to help. So I did not believe in this when I first learned about it because I thought it was just like bullshit. Like, you know, I was very much like, no, like I need to know the science behind it. And there is science behind it. Like pain science is a thing. And really it was about like rewiring my neural pathways, because basically when you're in chronic pain after going through chronic stress, right? So narcissistic abuse in all of our cases here, and people can get chronic pain for other traumas as well. But to stick with like the point of like what this is all about, narcissistic abuse. And so it becomes this pressure cooker in your body, and it starts manifesting physically because it's your brain trying to protect you from the dangerous emotions. So when you're a child and you have an emotion and your narcissistic parent tells you you're too sensitive, big girls don't cry, big boys don't cry, I'll give you something to cry about, you're so ugly when you cry, blah, blah, blah. Your child brain interprets the emotion as a life and death situation because you view your parents as gods and everything they say is like gospel. And so your brain is like, okay, so if I cry, this pisses my mother off. If I piss my mother off, she's not going to love me anymore. If she doesn't love me anymore, I'm going to die. And so your brain, in order to protect you, gives you this unconscious belief that if you feel your emotions, you're going to die. And so give that several decades. It's not like you turn 18 and your brain is like, okay, cool, time to start processing our emotions because we're adults now, we're not going to die. No, like you have to like learn, you have to like relearn this and like rewire your brain and all that great stuff. And it's literally connected to the narcissistic abuse. So let me see what we've got in the chat. Royce, the narcissist in my life was my girlfriend and refuses to leave the relationship and uses threats and manipulation to continue to fix it. So, I mean, if there's no shared children, cut and run and go no contact, like block her if you can. Sonia, a true narcissist thinks they're never the problem. Exactly. Oh my gosh, is that Vera? Hey, welcome. Royce, she's putting me in the position where I have no other choice but to take legal action. I was gonna say, like, you might have to get legal action involved in this case. So yeah, you're gonna have to at this point. And all communication goes through lawyers, and that's it. Like, do not communicate. Alcast, I needed to hear this today. Amazing. I'm so glad this has been helpful. LJD, listen, all leaving is always about being selfish, and you're right, he's selfish. Leave anyone at any time. They don't need you if they abuse you. No one's entitled to you, so it's not selfish to leave. Sonia, it's like that series Baby Reindeer. Oh my gosh, one of my clients just told me about it on Friday, I think, and I spent all weekend watching Baby Reindeer, and holy shit. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And that's the thing, like vulnerable narcissists, like they make you feel sorry for them. They make you feel like, you know, guilty if you don't help them or whatever, and then they ruin your life. Del20, first off, thank you for all your insight. You're welcome. Should I fear that my daughter will become a narcissist since her mother is? So, I mean, it can go either way. I'm assuming your daughter has you in her life, so that's good because you are the rational, level-headed adult. So, you know, if she has empathy, she's not going to become a narcissist. So many of us were raised by narcissists and did not end up becoming narcissists just because our mothers were narcissists. But I mean, it can go either way at the end of the day. So just something to keep in mind. But again, like just being a safe space for your daughter and, you know, allowing her to express her emotions. She's, you know, it's going to be okay. Sonia, most of them are stalkers. They can be. Royce, it's very difficult. I can't get her to understand it's over and there's no future. Yeah. So it's over. And there is no future. If they don't understand that and they start stalking you, that's definitely like a law enforcement thing. Clean Town 83. Wow, I've been clenching my jaw and noticed that my muscles are so tensed. Exactly, right? That's because of the repressed emotions from the abuse. Capsy, thank you so much for your guidance. You're welcome. Anna Stoner, when I was 15 to 18, I had stomach ulcers from the stress in a traumatic event caused by my mother. Yep. JD Ski, I seem to feel I want to vomit and don't want to be around people. Yep, that's repressed emotions. Clean Town, renal cancer right after we bought our home, and I seriously believe it's from the constant stress. I'm so sorry that you're going through that. Obviously follow your doctor's orders for cancer and all that kind of stuff, but inner work can, you know, help with symptoms and everything, and I hope you're going to be okay. Royce, she's stalking me, continues to show up at my house and has come by my work. Yeah, that's restraining order territory. Michelle, I also had horrible ear pain a few years ago, which the hospital docs thought was trigeminal neuralgia. I am so sorry to trigeminal neuralgia is like fucking hell, like the absolute worst. And it is part of the mind-body connection, like 1,000%. The Beta Max family, I was diagnosed with trigeminal neuralgia as well. Turned out it was my something muscle that is in spasm from tension. Yeah, and why is it in spasm? Why is it in tension? Because of the repressed emotions. So this is why inner work is so important. Anna Stoner misses, the physical symptoms is the body screaming for help when you ignore the mental warnings. Exactly. Sonia, I've been so achy and tensed. Yeah, not surprising. My body feels broken right now. Yeah, the body keeps the score. Exactly, right? And your body's not broken. It's your brain is misinterpreting what's dangerous, right? So your brain believes that the repressed emotions are what's dangerous. So once you start processing those emotions, you start releasing them and the pain starts to go away. And, you know, I can only explain so much in a live, but I will share very briefly that doors are open for my Bulletproof group coaching program, which ties all of this in, and it's like a step-by-step thing. If anybody is interested, you can drop the word apply in the comments in this live and you'll get a DM with the link to submit your application form. I only open up this program twice a year. So if you don't want to wait till like the winter and you want to do this now, go for it. You're welcome to apply. Once you apply, you can book a no obligation consultation call with me where we'll talk about if this is the right fit for you. And if not, I'll tell you, you know, what other options there are as well. And it's a very in-depth program that goes through literally all the things. You get my guidance. It's a small group, less than 8 people, weekly group calls, 12 weeks long, only offered twice a year. So if you are interested, drop the word apply in the comments. Anna Stoner, my mother is a nurse, walked around for 2 days with a broken arm because she said I was being dramatic. Fuck, I'm so sorry. That's fucking terrible. See, and it's like, and that's the thing, like they don't care about you. They want you to be in pain, right? It's insane. I hope you got medical attention after that. Clean Town, how do I heal my nervous system? I can't do anything without everything she has done to break me down, playing in my head like a horror movie. I'm so frozen right now. Yeah. So this is exactly what my program does. Like, it's in depth, how to heal your nervous system. You can start with my quiz. So if you drop the word quiz in the comments in this live, I think you'll get the link to take my quiz, and there's like a journaling exercise that will help regulate the nervous system. But if you want to go way more in depth, apply for Bulletproof and we can talk about it. And you know, journaling is like a huge component of healing. So if you take the quiz, you'll get those journaling instructions. It's not like Dear Diary, this happened today kind of thing. No, it's like you rage on a page, you rip it up after 20 minutes, and there's journal prompts based on whatever your quiz results are. So I would definitely encourage taking the quiz if you have not done so already. And if you want to like really take, you know, your healing journey like a massive, gigantic step further, apply for Bulletproof because doors are going to close in a couple of weeks. Danielle, what is your take on EMDR along with talk therapy to process the trauma related to narc abuse? So I mean, I've tried both and it didn't help. Some people it helps, and that's great. A lot of my clients come to me after talk therapy and EMDR did not help. So I mean, I guess it just depends for certain people. A lot of and I'm not shitting on therapists, but a lot of them don't have knowledge of narcissistic abuse and like healing from it and all that. And unfortunately, a lot of survivors don't get like the help they need in that situation, right? Like therapy is great if you've got mental health concerns, things like that, go to therapy. If you're trying to, you know, move forward from narcissistic abuse and like come up with an action plan and all that kind of stuff, coaching sometimes can be better suited. Some people do both coaching and therapy and they find that it's great. But I've heard both like great stories about EMDR and horror stories about EMDR. So I mean, everybody's different. You kind of have to trial and error it. So up to you if you want to try that. Sonia, definitely they prey on us through the vulnerable act. Yep. Supermodel, cute. I am always playing the victim and always starting problems whenever I bring up anything that bothers me, or I'm being selfish. If I call them out, I'm being selfish. Exactly, right? That's the exact same thing as them saying that you're too sensitive. They're trying to make you feel like something is wrong with you for calling out the abuse. So they make it seem like you have the issue to distract you from the real issue, which is their abuse. Shan, I developed panic disorder and anxiety from my ex-husband. Yeah, not surprised. I'm sorry to hear. Eliza, apply. Awesome. So you should have gotten a DM. Supermodel, cute. You should have gotten a DM as well. If not, DM me and I'll figure that out. Galinka, trauma release exercise helps me with muscle tension. Yeah, I've tried trauma release exercise too. It's interesting, but journaling is still so important. And inner work and processing the emotions. Awesome. A bunch of you are getting the quiz, so you should have gotten the DMs. Danielle, thank you for your insight. You're very welcome. Royce, oh no, quiz. Anna Stoner, Mrs. Did you grieve from, speaking, take two. Did you grieve from never getting an apology from your mother? Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, yes, I felt relief when she died, but like my inner child was like just so upset about not getting an apology and all that kind of stuff. So I totally inner worked my way through that. Oh, I'm at the end of the comments. Cool. All right. So yeah, you're not too sensitive is the moral of the story, right? Like the whole reason. And I know I've rambled so much in this past, I don't know how long I've been live for, but I'm probably going to wrap it up soon because I feel like I've been motor mouthing for a long time. You're not too sensitive, right? It's like if somebody does something to piss you off and you get pissed off, that is like an appropriate human with empathy response to have. And that person who does the pissing you off then points the finger at you saying like, you're too sensitive, something's wrong with you. They're manipulating you. You're not too sensitive at all. And the reality is that you're just a normal human with emotions, with a functional nervous system. And the thing is, emotions are not the enemy. They are your guidance system. They're your GPS. They're literally there to guide you and inform you on what is going on. So if you feel an emotion, an unpleasant one, when someone is manipulating you, that does not mean that you're too sensitive. That means that something not okay is happening here. But we are trained to dismiss our emotions and run away from them and push them down, and then we get chronic pain. And you know, because the narcissist says that it's not okay to have your emotions, like they literally use your emotions against you, they villainize your emotions against you, and they want you to be in an emotionally bamboozled state because they get off on getting supply from you that way. So that is basically like the gist of everything. I think I covered everything that I wanted to. And so just, you know, really the whole point of this live is to just remind you that you're normal. You are not too sensitive. Just because someone is saying that you are too sensitive, it doesn't mean that they're right. It doesn't mean that you are too sensitive. It doesn't mean that they know what the fuck they're talking about. It means that they're manipulating you. And that's, you know, that's really that at the end of the day, right? Like, emotions are normal. Emotions are completely normal. And like the biggest component of healing is getting in touch with those emotions. So again, if that is something that you want to do and you want guidance on it, My Bulletproof group coaching program that is only offered twice a year is happening in June. If you apply now, you'll get like a massive discount and some bonuses. So just drop the word apply in the comments on this live, or the comments on the replay of this live, or in my DMs, and you'll get the link to apply. Once you apply, you'll be able to book a call with me and we can talk about your application and like show up to your call. Don't just fucking book the call and like waste my time, because that's like super rude and you will be banned from my calendar if you do that. If you need to reschedule, tell me, right? Communication, guys. Let's see. Abdul, you're too kind. Thanks so much. Sonia, you can even cry your eyes out in front of them and they don't care. Exactly. They want you to cry their eyes out. They want you to cry your eyes out in front of them, because then they get supply from you, and then they can keep telling you that you're too sensitive and you've got like these emotional problems and you need help and you're unhinged and all that kind of stuff. And like they live to see you in a tormented state that they caused. Like it makes them feel powerful and in control. So do not give them any emotions. Clean Town, thank you so much. It's people like you that give me hope. I have to get going on my healing journey because no one deserves to leave on this trauma. Yeah, absolutely. You're very welcome. I'm so glad that I'm able to give you hope. And yeah, if you want to really like jump start and dive into that healing journey, the Bulletproof program is going to be freaking amazing. So just drop the word apply in my DMs or the comments and you'll get the link to submit your application, and we can take it from there. Sonia, you're very welcome. Not sure what you mean, Julie, that my 4-letter words do not look good on me. Okay. Thanks. All right. I'm at the end of the comments, so I will wrap this up here. Thank you for being here. I will post the replay, and again, if you want to get into Bulletproof, it's only offered twice a year. So it's now or December, January-ish. So feel free to submit your application, and we'll take it from there. I don't know how to talk anymore. Bye, everybody. I hope this has been helpful.